I doubt we'll get good quality at 8 p.m. on fucking Pacific Coast. Oh my god, we nailed it the first time. I'll fucking take it. No complaints. Twitch moderator. Skin slip. What did it? It said the stream broke. What the fuck? Did it break already? What did it? Oh no, here it is. Okay. I panicked. I thought it broke it again. All right. We have all the qualities. It never happens right away. Okay. Tweet. Send tweet. Go to my profile. Respond to this tweet.
Ooh.
Couched Tomatoes movie chat. Twitch.tv/skinslip. 2 movie nerds here to talk movies. Hashtag Twitch streamer. Hashtag Twitch stream. Hashtag Twitch streams. Hashtag Twitch streamers.
You're really laying in on the Twitch
Hashtag
part.
movies. Hashtag film. Hashtag cinema. Hashtag, I hate doing this. I should just make a fucking notepad. I'm going to do that now. We're making a notepad. It's happening.
Hashtag.
Notepad. Thank you. All right. Now I'm going to go copy all those hashtags real quick before I forget. Couch tomatoes. Okay. Save. I'm going to save this somewhere I'm going to remember. My workspace. Oh, maybe it might help if I spelled hashtags right. Okay. I'll just minimize that over here. Never worry about it again. Okay. Sending the tweet. The tweet. And then I gotta share this tweet. Marcus Red. Here. No, wrong window. This window. And here.
And here.
And here. Okay. Okay.
Also that.
Also, oh hey, Stoutman! Oh, the Ninja Turtle. She ain't wearing no girl. He has got a big muscle. Thanks again for 26 months. Jesus Christ. It's almost like you love me or something.
Almost.
Almost. Not quite. All right. I need to pull up my movie list.
You watched a bunch of movies.
I mean, you have the list in front of you. You can direct the conversation now, I guess, if you'd like.
Okay, let's start with what we started with.
The Rift?
The Rift.
Hell fucking yes. A cash-in on the abyss with the underwater horror. Not an underwater base, but an underwater submarine.
So it's not a predecessor it came after?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Abyss came out in 85 or 86, right? No, 87?
I don't remember.
Abyss. I'm about to find out.
That's you.
Yeah, Abyss came out in 1989, the year before.
Oh.
And there's also Leviathan, which is from 1989, and Deep Star 6, which is from 1989. So they're all right around the same time to cash in on, obviously, to cash in on the popularity, I think, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I would say this is the best not Abyss movie that is like The Abyss. You know what I mean? Of the 80s, so to speak.
Yes, there are a ton of really low budget ones. This is the best, I think. So like the Leviathan, Deep Star 6, and Endless Ascent, aka The Rift, are the three best ones for sure. And we've seen all three of them now. So you say this is the best of
Yeah,
the best of
I don't
them?
remember seeing all three of them. I remember Deep Star 6. I remember The Rift.
I may
Well,
have seen
that's what
Leviathan. I may have seen
that's it.
Leviathan without you. It's fine. We can watch it. We can watch that
Yeah,
together.
no, we didn't
Maybe
watch
we'll decide that next week for the show. You'll be like, "Oh, this is the best Abyss ripoff." I actually really like Leviathan. I don't think it's great, but I really like it. I don't think any of them are particularly great, except Abyss, obviously. All right, so
it.
The Rift was directed
Yeah.
by Juan Piquer Simon, who did Slugs and Pieces. And those are two of my favorite movies he's done. He also did Extraterrestrial Visitors, which is a Mystery Science Theater movie. And his movie
Ah.
Cthulhu Mansion just got a Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome. That's all I remember about it.
Yeah, this movie is pretty cheesy, but not in a bad way.
Not at all. Arlie
It's
Ermey's
not
in
like,
this.
yes, Arlie Ermey, in fact, is probably the best part of this movie, I feel like, because no matter what he does, he's just good at it. But I don't know what it says about the movie that the biggest asshole in the movie is also the best character, like in terms of the best actor, you know. I guess that's kind of the way you would want it to be if you're trying to do a certain type of movie, right? Because like you want the guy who's going to be emoting the most to be pretty damn good at emoting, right? So makes sense.
Yes, I agree. Also, Ray Wise is not exactly wasted in this movie. I think he's got a pretty cool role as Robin. So he'd be the
Kind
other
of.
one you're here for, probably. Though
You know,
John
it's
Toll's
funny you
Bay is
say.
here, and he's like one of those guys, you know.
It's funny you say that, but I feel like Ray Wise kind of was wasted. I feel like he didn't get
Did you?
much to
Okay.
do in the movie.
I
And
thought what he did there was excellent quality, though. I mean,
well, yeah. Yeah, he's playing a pretty important role as well. It's not that it's not important, it's just
of
that
course.
necessarily because of the way the film is written, because of the concept behind the story, that character doesn't get a lot of screen time. So like it sucks, but it's also like, well, you kind of do want somebody good to be in that role, and he was good, and he did the job good. It's just, if I wouldn't have complained if he had more screen time, if that would have made sense for the movie, which in this case I don't think it would have. But yeah, that's all I'm saying.
A bit of background noise. My window's open because it's been hot, so I actually have to mute when people are outside. So
I
apologies.
have a fan on.
The
Yeah.
next film is The Nest, which is definitely one you should talk about
Yes,
since this
because
is
I
your
actually
movie.
liked The
I didn't
Nest.
hate it. I just don't care for it.
But the reason you don't care for it is specifically because it's a cockroaches movie about cockroaches, and you don't like cockroaches, and I don't like them either. But like, they're one of those bugs that really gets on your nerves. I guess really bugs you.
Really creeped me out. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I have to say though, watching this, I felt like I was discovering my new favorite Nanar movie because, oh my god, it's bad in all the right ways. It just it hits different, you know? That's the thing that they say nowadays. That's the thing all them young people say nowadays. Um, but I knew this movie was special. I knew it was something that I was going to enjoy and like want to get for my collection at some point. When that scene came along towards the end of the movie with the father who I'm gonna say it. That is most likely the most needless death in cinematic history. Like the
Guy
guy,
treated his family like shit and then got a heart in the last 3 seconds of his life. It's so
yes,
ridiculous.
he grew a conscience in the last 3 seconds of his life, and he was like, "Okay, I gotta save my daughter," and the it's just a stupid little thing where like the fucking bathroom door won't close because there's a fucking there's a towel or a rug underneath it that's bunching up in the door, and he's trying to like close it and it won't close because the thing's bunching up in the door. Now any reasonable logical human being would think, okay, I will open the door just a little bit more kick the rug in, or kick the, if it's not a rug, if it's a towel, then just whatever it is, kick it in there so that's not under the fucking door anymore.
In or
And then
push it out,
I will,
whatever it is, push or pull it. Just get the fuck out of the
and
door.
then
You
I
just
will
gotta get over the
close the
that
door.
gap. You got
Yeah,
that one little gap at the door. You just gotta pull it one way
yeah.
or the other. Just move it. You know.
And then I'll close the door. But this guy, in true genius fashion, says, fuck it. Opens the door all the way, runs inside the bathroom with all the cockroaches, yells to his daughter, save yourself, and then promptly closes the door behind him, even though he did nothing of note to actually stop the problem of the door not being able to close.
Cockroaches, they're meat-eating
I
cockroaches that have been genetically developed.
I laughed my ass off at that scene, and she can attest. I laughed uproariously at that scene. It was just amazing. Also, the special effects in this movie are fucking fantastic. They're really, really good. There's some really
They're really,
weird,
they're
fucked up
really
things.
moist.
Oh god, there's some really weird, fucked up creatures in this movie based on the cockroach. I don't want to give anything away in terms of what you can expect to see, but yeah, there's some really fucked up shit going on here, and it looks really fucking good. Whoever they got to do the special effects, chef's kiss, wonderful.
Ready to give to you.
And then I also love that the character of the hapless exterminator shows up in this movie. You may remember the hapless exterminator from other movies such as Arachnophobia, John Goodman. In this case, it's
Oh,
a
Arachnophobia is actually making fun of this movie with that role, by the way. Just so you
sure.
know. This came out, Arachnophobia came out like a full 3 or 4 years after this
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. Um, in this case, the hapless exterminator is like a druggie or a drunkard or potentially both. I think it's both. And it's like they make it clear this guy is not very smart because at one point doesn't he like blow up his house at one point? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because the fucking fluid he's using to exterminate things is flammable,
It's like a
and he
fucking flamethrower. It's so wild.
and he fucking accidentally dumps some of it out in his house, and then he throws a fucking lit cigarette down or something like that, and looks back like, oh shit.
I think he got startled by something and fell out of his mouth, but I can't remember. The cigarette falls to the floor for whatever reason, and it just goes up like a fucking matchbox, like a kindling. Just boom. Big old fireball, everything. It's ridiculous.
So he's a stupid idiot, but he also plays an important role in the film. Like he's in the final moments of the movie, not necessarily the final moments, I don't think, but like he's one of the characters who plays a significant role in, like, reaching the finale of the film, I guess is what I would say. So yeah, I love that this character that otherwise earlier in the movie has like almost nothing to do with anything. He's just an exterminator, doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and won't show up to any of his fucking calls because he's always drunk or high all the goddamn time. Like, I just love that character so much because it's such a stupid character and exactly the kind of person that I would expect to actually exist in real life as well. It's a very American character. It's like this guy is definitely American.
Painfully American. Like, oh my god, a painful stereotype of Americans. It's hilarious. The movie's an American film, so I don't know.
Yeah. But I think it's set like isn't it set in the Northeast? Like an island in the Northeast? Off like I can't remember exactly where, but yeah. I like it for all the wrong reasons, I guess, but
It says
I
it's
like
a New England fishing village on an island. It's
yeah, New England fishing village on an island. Which, by the way, it doesn't look anything like that. But okay, sure. We'll go with that. You're still muted. Oh, you're still coughing. Okay, never mind.
Not only was it not done on an island, it was shot at Bronson Caves, Malibu, Venice, North Head Lighthouse, Santa Catalina Island just for one location, and Coldwater Canyon for the mayor's house. So it's like it was shot only very briefly on an island in Catalina. It's just not that far. So right up the coast, across the ocean from where they were filming.
That would explain why it didn't even remotely look like what they were trying to go for.
Palm
What
trees at
was
some point. And like palm trees grow
tree?
anywhere, they're a fucking weed, but at the same time, like what?
Yeah, yeah.
The way they're done, like it's such a California way of putting the palm tree in this movie.
It definitely looked like more arid, more dry, and I'm like, that's not what I think of when I think of New England area, you know?
Exactly. All right, next.
On we have noises. Was it the Punisher next? No, it was Haunt, right? Haunt. We watched Haunt with Joe Bob Briggs. Watched Joe Bob Briggs' version of Haunt. Um, I didn't know what to expect going into this because I didn't know much of anything about the movie. But down to watch just about anything,
This is
and
part
I
of a
quite
Halloween
enjoyed it.
double bill that included Hack-O-Lantern, which we already watched, or was it? No, it was the other one.
I think it was.
No, was it Hack-O-Lantern or the Devil movie?
I
I
think
think it's
it's
Hack-O-Lantern. Yeah, it was Hack-O-Lantern. So it's Haunt and Hack-O-Lantern. Now this was suggested to me by my friend Charlotte, who I met recently, but like it's one of those. When you meet a friend and things like super intense for friendship, like immediately. Yeah, one of those kind of people who fell into my life. So it's kind of interesting. But she is a wonderful person. She's a scare actor, and she was telling me about all these movies that are about haunts and scare acting. And like she said, haunts. I'm like, hey, that's on Shudder, and that's got a Joe Bob, which is the only reason. By the way, looking at the premise of this movie is so fucking generic. I read the premise of this, which is on Halloween, a group of friends encounter an extreme haunted house that promises to feed their darkest fears. That's the premise. Okay?
Yep.
And the premise is really basic, but the way it's constructed, the scares, it never gives you a bad jump scare. Not a single bad jump scare. It jump scares you 4 or 5 times. Good jump scares. Every single one of them is what's the word I'm looking for? I just blanked on the word. Fuck.
I don't know.
I always say it's a jump scare. It scares the characters and not just the audience. Jeez, my brain went blank.
Okay.
Motivated. They're all motivated jump scares.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of bad horror movies have unmotivated jump scares. Example being The Pyramid. There's a shot near the end, or maybe it's the middle, where they enter this hallway, they're all the way down the hallway, just around the corner. You can see the flashlights playing against the light, and a little creature runs by that's supposed to scare us, the audience. And I was like, that's unmotivated. It's a terrible jump scare.
Yeah.
Apologies. Anyway, sorry. That was the preface to this movie. You want to? What are your thoughts on this? Why I cough my lungs out?
I like that the main character is someone who's been through a lot of shit in her life, but we actually see that come through in the character because things that are like freaking out a lot of her friends in the haunted house are not necessarily having the same effect on her. She isn't as easily scared, and that makes sense given what we know that her character's been through some shit. We slowly discover that over the course of the film too.
I also love that she never loses her wits. She always
Yes.
never does a stupid thing. She's not the character that runs upstairs from the slasher. She's the one who immediately stops, grabs a thing off the floor, and starts working at the door, or her bonds or something. Like she's not a helpless character, and I fucking love when they write characters who are not helpless, because so often, and I mean so often, female characters especially are just screams. That's all they are.
And she almost never screams throughout the movie, if I recall. I don't remember her screaming once. But
Screamed is when her friend was about to be burnt with an iron in the face. And I think
oh yeah,
that is
yeah.
a very good motivation to scream your ears off. You're
Hmm.
one of your best friends about to get fucking mutilated. Also, it's noted that this girl is dealing with an abusive partner. And so she is dealing with that shit. And yeah, she actually calls upon him at one point to come help. You know, to his credit, he does try to come and help. Was he useful?
Yeah,
No, but I mean, he
yeah,
tried. You give him credit for at least trying. That means he at least cared somewhat, even if he was shitty to her. You know,
yeah.
which means that it gives us a like it makes us think that if he rescues her, maybe he can reform. But no, don't worry about it. Bad people get what's coming to them. Unfortunately, some of the good people get what's coming to them too. But you know, that's horror.
I did love the ending of this one because it's different from the way most movies are.
Yeah, it
Most
definitely
horror movies
it
are.
definitely subverts expectations.
Yes.
I was expecting
So
one
that
thing, and it did not give me that thing in a good way.
um I think this could easily become like one of those Halloween classics that you watch every single year, or every other year,
I think, yeah, this is like every couple of years. I think we're gonna come back to this. Like, it's a Shudder original, so we'll probably just come back to the Joe Bob one every couple of years because I fucking adore Joe Bob currently until he does something horrible or whatever, you know. Until he gets canceled, can't adore him
until it
anymore.
gets canceled.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
And then you're not allowed to adore
I'm
him.
not allowed to adore him in public anymore. No. It's just one of those things.
Oh God.
Apologies for coughing.
But yes,
But no,
very good.
I'm kidding. I'm being silly because uh, dealing with a lot of right wingers complaining about cancel culture. I'm like, you mean consequences? Consequences? Sorry, not to get political, but consequences. Came down with a case of
Right.
consequences. Anyway, moving on. What was the next movie? I can't remember.
Did we watch Punisher after that? I think.
No, see, the Sons of Sam, A Descent into
Oh
Darkness.
yeah, yeah. Sons of Sam. Oh yes. So this was actually not a movie, it's a series, documentary, the crime documentary series, 4 episodes long. Didn't you say it was done by the same guys who did Cropsy, things like that? Those movies? Oh, can okay.
So he did Cropsy, Killer Legends, and Murder Mountain, which I haven't seen. We're gonna see because I have it pinned in
Uh,
open for us to watch. It's a
I've seen
Netflix
Cropsy
one.
and Sharon Legends. Yeah, those are
Yeah, yeah.
good.
We've seen 3 of their 4 docs. So it's like, if I remember, Cropsy was done by with with Barbara Banaccio, who only directed that.
Hmm.
She seems to have dropped off the radar. I wonder what happened. I hope nothing bad. Um, but yeah, Joshua Zeman is the name of the director, or Zeman. I don't know how he likes to have his name. So yeah, I like these kinds of series because they're one season, they're short, so they're just really just a long movie. It's just one, and it's contained. You know, it's not like there's gonna be a cliffhanger ending, and I'm not gonna get next season, or is a cliffhanger ending, and I have to watch the next season. I mean, like, it's just a lot of work for me sometimes. So like, this is 240 minutes. It's really easy digestible in 2 chunks. Watch first
Yeah,
2 episodes, take a break, eat some food, get some snacks, empty the bladders, watch the other 2 episodes, or wait until the next day. You know. So I thought this was gonna be more focused on Son of Sam. Now there is an episode on Son of Sam. So there's an episode on Maury Terry, like an introduction to him, and kind of his life, personal life, how he was kind of obsessed with some things he got really attached to, and then there's an episode on the Son of Sam case and various theories and stuff, and then there's 2 episodes on this various evidences and links in Maury Terry's theory of the multiple people being the actual Son of Sam, like it was a cult instead of a person. So that's the theory, is that this person was trying to say that, like, it's not one guy, it's several people in like a satanic cult, which in
yeah.
retrospect sounds a little nutty. And in truthfulness, I was on the fence about believing this right off the bat. And in one of the episodes, it does a pretty good job of almost convincing me. And I mean, almost. I was like, ooh, I'm not convinced yet. I'm like, oh, okay, there
Yeah.
might be something to this, but like,
There are some elements that are very convincing. It's like, well, wait a minute, that does seem strange, right? But
yeah, there's a lot of
um,
connections that just seem like might be a coincidence, and some of those connections that might actually have a link. That's like the thing you're like, that might actually be related.
but ultimately, as you're watching it, you realize, oh, that's just really there's literally this one thing that's like, huh, that's strange. Why is this happening over here? Oh, what's going on with this in this case, right? But as you watch it, you're just like, oh, these really are just tenuous links that don't really prove anything and
It's more a documentary about
don't
his obsession,
indicate
of
anything
course.
either. Yeah, that's what I liked about it the most is that they do, at least from the very front of the fucking film, for put it out there, film documentary, put
Yeah,
it out there
film.
as a as this is something that he was obsessed with. Like this is the story of this man's obsession with this crime, right? They put it out there as that and not as this is what really happened. You know what I mean? If they had put it out there as this is definitely what really happened here, I don't think it would have worked as well. But because they put it out there as this is just one guy's theories on this, and sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't make sense. Make up your own mind, kind of thing. That I feel like works way better than you know. This is definitely what happens. Conspiracy theory.
I mean,
You
like,
know.
I am a person who can very easily make links that are to unrelated things. So, like, in the early 2000s, I was a little wrapped up in 9/11 denial until it got to the point where people were talking about, like, it always boils down to anti-Semitism to Jews.
Yes.
And, like, I was going down the path and convinced until I got to the anti-Semitism to the Jews part, and I was like, oh, never mind.
It's so weird how
It's like
conspiracy theories always boil down,
they're
almost all. It's not all the time, but
they don't always.
almost.
A lot of them do.
But like, I was shocked when like flat Earth went down that road. Like, really,
I mean, you can go a lot of routes with
really,
that stuff. With like, first of all, flat Earth's the most silly shit I've ever heard.
right?
Like, I mean, believe what you want, but like,
It's just
there's a
stupid.
reason why the Earth. It's just, oh my god.
But even if
My
you think
favorite thing,
it's stupid,
I was watching an old episode of All Gas No Breaks before he moved to Channel 5 with
uh,
whatever his name is. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. Uh, and he was at the Flat Earth convention, and there's this guy like, see
yeah.
how the water sits like this? If it was in Australia, it'd be like this. And I was like, that's the face I made. That's what I did. Just no one's here around to see me. Just I cannot help but face it. I had to face palm to save my own life. There's too much pain psychically traveling through my brain. They're like, oh God, fuck.
Yeah. But I think like the part of that that got me the most is just like, okay, so you're crazy and you believe that there's a conspiracy that the earth is actually flat and all this shit. But why does it suddenly how do you boil that down to the Jews though? Like where does that intersect? And why do you have to like force that into this stupid conspiracy of yours? It's
Right?
because that's what it's really about
And
for
like,
you, isn't it?
the thing about Ancient Aliens, like, there's actually an Ancient Aliens movie coming out. I'm down to watch that. That's the kind of like, that's the setting for that kind of thing. Right? But the History Channel running this like it's fucking history. There are people, my parents, who fucking think that shit might be real. I'm like, do you know what the 90% of these theories boil down to is we don't like that these people of color made this thing, so let's concoct a theory that white people did it first. That's literally the summation of that. Now, if they do it right in the movie, they'll make it the ancient race, like a person of color, people of color or whatever. So like, it's like just to kind of, so it doesn't turn into like some weird propaganda for white people, right? Like that as a filmmaker, I think that would be my personal responsibility to keep it from being like the TV show in the negative ways. I don't know, whatever. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. The point being, yeah, Conspiracy theories are easy to believe because the mind wants to believe there's a reason behind random events, okay?
Yeah.
And conspiracy theories are real. They have happened in history.
Yeah.
Project Northwoods. I know a lot of people dropped that one, but it's a true thing. Conspiracy. We were doing several conspiracies. There's a conspiracy to blow up a passenger liner to blame on Cuba so we could go to war with them. I'm not making that up. That is a real thing that was declassified decades ago. So when someone believes conspiracy theory, you have to understand that conspiracy theories do exist, but they're very rare, and usually it's very few people. Because trying to keep a secret between many people is very hard. If you notice, if you pass a piece of information to one friend and tell them not to tell anybody, sometimes you hear that fucking piece of information from somebody you definitely didn't fucking tell that to. So it happens. My point is, this is why I don't immediately shun someone who I just feel pity for somebody who's wrapped up in it, lost in it. Because I was lost in it, but I was lost in it because I was dissociated from my person in a way via it. It's hard to explain. I was just using it to dissociate from reality to just cope with my terrible reality at the time. And, once I came to my senses, haha, this is all silly shit. And now I can watch that kind of stuff and just laugh and laugh. It's different. It's different, Besides the point. Oh, we've got some stuff in the chat that's here. I want to burn my brain with people who believe that flat earth shit. I know, right? As for the whole 9/11 thing, well, yeah, okay. Anyway, the only thing I fully believe with 9/11 is that Building 5 or whatever, flaming debris landed on it. It caught on fire. But I fully believe they let that building full of top secret information that was about to be subpoenaed by Congress, they fully let that just burn since they can't burn top secret information. It was a convenient excuse to get rid of a lot of documents they didn't want anymore. I think that's what it really boiled down to. It's not that they set it on fire. It's just oh, hey, that's convenient. Hey, look, let's focus on this building first. That one's not so important. That's way more believable than controlled explosions. Okay? That's a believable, that's not even conspiracy, a believable theory about what happened with that building since barely anything was done to it. Besides that point, we're not here to talk about 9/11 conspiracy theory. We're here to talk about movies. I'm just saying this person is a person who got sucked into his own conspiracy theory, essentially. Because of his life, for whatever reason. He was something that he's running from in a way, right? Anyway. Sorry, that was a lot to come around to. 15-minute discussion about conspiracies.
What I will say is that, while I don't think Berkowitz was in on it with other people, he was definitely more intelligent than he let on, and I think he was trying to convince people that he was insane in order to get a lesser charge.
One of those mugshots is super different from the others, and I think that could just be a coincidental murder that just happened and not related to the other Berkowitz. You see the mugshots for each murder or each attack? It's Berkowitz, kind of Berkowitz, a little Berkowitz. Who the fuck is that guy? That guy's got a different haircut, different nose, different everything. Sorry, I don't mean to be screaming. I got really loud, and then I just realized now I got really loud. That guy's got different everything. So I think that is potentially a different, just a random murder, not related, or attempted murder perhaps. I don't know. That's the only thing I'm thinking about. But this is a pretty good documentary. I would say it presents some of the information that made Justin here laugh his fucking ass off. I laughed too. There's a demonic word around the symbol, a black magic word, not demonic, a black magic word around a black magic sigil, right? That's said to be in Berkowitz's possession. And the word looked similar, kind of a little bit-ish. If you squint your eyes, cross them a little bit, stand upside down, like Berkowitz. And the minute the narrator the guy explained those two things being linked in some way, I fucking laughed. I could not handle it. That was in the third episode. That's fucking great. And on top of that, my friend Charlotte, who also watched this after I recommended it to her, screen capped that moment, and I retweeted that shit, mentioning that you fucking died laughing. Because I was I gotta tell everyone, this is fucking hilarious shit. So I don't know. I'm getting very
One of the
animated.
words in this was Berkowick, which reminded
It's
me
like
of
Berserwick or
Berkowick.
whatever. It wasn't even like that close.
Right.
Yeah, Sweeney and Stout are definitely lizard people. Also, we are 1,000% on the round Earth shill pay train. I do kind of want a round Earth shill shirt because it's hilarious. All right, the next movie, let me stop talking about this shit, was The Punisher. But we watched the Goldblatt cut, the Goldblatt work print.
Work print, yeah.
So Mark Goldblatt, the director, did a 98-minute cut of the movie. He had to cut it a 15-minute sequence at the beginning, or it's 112 minutes, something like that. It's longer. No, it's like 95 for the unrated cut, and it's like 112 minutes or whatever, 109 minutes or something like that for the Goldblatt cut. And they cut out 15 minutes at the very front, and used little clips of it as a flashback scene in the movie instead, in the theatrical and unrated cuts. But like it's like Louis Gossett Jr. and Frank Castle doing a case together, being cops and shit, doing undercover cop shit, and then getting gunfights and arresting people. And then he's seen with his family. He's a great father. He's wonderful. Like, you can see fucking Dolph Lundgren actually doing some amazing acting here. He has range. You see him smile. You see him he's got range here. And then the rest of the movie, he's flat because he's dead inside. Everyone criticizes his acting in this movie, but I'm like, he's that way because if you'd seen the first 15 fucking minutes that was exciting from the movie goes from a 6 out of 10 to a 7 out of 10. Almost 8 out of 10. I mean, like, it was so close to an 8 out of 10. There's so much more gore in the set cut. There's a 15 extra minutes in the beginning really gives this movie and its characters a chance to breathe and grow. And oh my fucking God, if you have a region-free player, I suggest this be one of the titles you get. It's from Umbrella over in Australia. I bought mine from Amazon over from not Movie Mars, the other one.
Amazon or eBay?
There was a third-party seller. What's the famous
Amazon?
one? There's a big one that we always use. There's Movie Mars and another one. Anyway.
I don't know because I don't really do that on Amazon.
Oh, well, anyway. Anyway, bought it from one of my favorite third-party sellers I trust. Hey, is that the alternate cover?
Yeah.
Excuse me 1 second.
It's pretty awesome artwork there. There we go. Yeah.
Well, we have different editions of the movie.
Oh.
Here's my copy.
Oh. Interesting.
Let me see your back. Let me see the back of your copy. No, let me see the back of it, though. Oh, yeah, same exact back. Oh, you know, it's interesting. Mine has the white bar. Well, it's because it's only one side. This white bar's not on your flip side. That's interesting. Man, I am bummed I didn't get the same disc. Just didn't get that disc art. What a bummer. I would totally fucking double dip. If I find that used in someone's pile of like selling shit, I'm gonna double dip until I find the other cover. I was like, fuck, dude. That's such a cool cover. Way cooler than the default. But really worth the $23 I spent on the damn thing, let me tell you.
That
was with shipping.
I agree with pretty much everything you said.
Okay.
I just did want to mention though that I thought it was interesting. The work print uses a bunch of music from movies that.
Oh yeah.
From other movies like.
It's a complete temp score. So all right.
Yeah.
They thought this movie was lost, or they thought because the work prints that are out there are like a different cut with not temp music. It's got actually the actual score in it, and there was like really bad editions prior, I think, in Germany. Not bad, just not great editions because where they splicing the VHS stuff in from a 4th generation bootleg or whatever in with the Blu-ray, so you get like a composite cut. They didn't do a composite cut in this one. They actually got Mark Goldblatt found his original beta master of his work print. The one the studio handed to him in 1989 when he was done with his cut. Because a lot of directors get what they call a director's cut. They get a copy of the director's cut. And then the studio will sometimes recut the movie. Or the producer will recut the movie. Which is within their rights. Which happened with this one. They cut a bunch of gore out to make it 89, and it went down to 89 minutes. Got the 50 minutes out, and they got it. I think they were trying to secure PG-13, but it just ended up being PG. It's gonna be X-rated with all the gore that's there, which is not really worth the X rating. I don't think it's just a. I would say it's not even. It's barely an R. It's barely an R. There's a bit of gore, a little bit of gore, as a treat. Anyway, I give this a 7 out of 10 for sure. Like big solid.
Yeah.
Solid stuff. My preferred print of the movie.
I also wanted to mention that the movie is they understand the character of the Punisher in this movie.
Very much
like
so.
That's something you can't really say for every version of the Punisher on film.
I actually don't think there's been a bad Punisher on film. Honestly, I don't think there's been not one of those movies is bad. And the series is great. I think the series gets it the best. Because it's got time to breathe with the character, obviously. But
for sure. For damn sure.
I think the one who nailed the tone the best is Warzone. I think the one who nailed the character the best is Thomas Jane. The one I think is the best action film is the Volk London one, because it's just so much fucking fun. It's full of so much zany-ass ideas. You just... it's good shit. Yeah, there's a short Dirty Laundry, which is a sequel to the 2004 one, which is the Thomas Jane one. So... See, like, I like the 2004 Punisher, but, like, I don't love it. I think I love the score to that movie super hard. That Carlos Stiletto score. Stiletto, I can't remember. I don't know who. I'm fucking his name up. Stiletto, I think his name. He's the score for the Punisher 2004. Holy fuck. Ennio Morricone Love Letter, that whole score. It's so good. I implore you to go out and actually just listen to the score. It's so good. Better than the rest of the movie. The movie's good. Score is better. John Travolta really helped that movie, actually. John Travolta versus played against Thomas Jane is actually really, really cool interplay there. But yeah, I think the tone with the violence and the action. I think the action was shot better in the in Warzone. So it's like, Alexi Alexander knows how to direct action. She's a martial artist, so she gives like the action scenes space to breathe. You can see what's happening. Something that doesn't happen generally in Hollywood films because they cut around the fact that they don't get actors who can fight or bother learning how to fighting. Learn how to fight. Yeah. John Barenthal I found legit scary as hell as Frank Castle and the most like the comic book Punisher to me. Yes, exactly. I'm saying like that's why I'm saying the Netflix series is probably the best Punisher ever. Like I don't think Punisher could ever be done better than in a series because you have to give his character room to breathe and have emotion and go through trauma. And I don't know. I just think it's one of those characters you have to care about the character because otherwise he's just a fascist. You have to care about his plight, or otherwise he's just a fascist. You know, like he's just a cop without a badge. Oh shit! Did I just call cops fascist? I did. Maybe. Oops. Oh god! The entirely too political episode. Next, we watched It Follows, which is rewatched for both of us.
Yes. I love the soundtrack in this movie. I love almost everything about it, but the soundtrack is amazing.
The Zatch is the person who did the score. They did the score for Fez, also, the game. So, just in case there's a movie called Fez, which I'm sure there is. Anyway, why don't you take this? I'm going to pack a hole here.
All right. So, one of the things I noticed upon rewatching this movie is that it's perfect for sequels. It's like it's designed to have sequels. It's designed to be a horror series. You could make 8, 10, 12 fucking movies in a series of It Follows movies.
Everyone has said they would come back. So, I mean, like, the only thing holding it back is whoever owns the fucking rights to the movie. That's it.
Please. Make it happen, please.
I guess investors. Needs investors too. Nobody wants to give money to it. I don't know why no one would want to invest in it. It was a very, very good horror movie that got very good reviews and did very good business. It's a movie that reviewed so well before it released that they decided to forego the digital release and do theatrical only for a short run because they had that much confidence in the movie, and it shows. And it's a very good movie.
It kind of reminds me of Phantasm, because the main characters are kind of they're being haunted by something.
Hmm.
I don't know how to describe it, but like there's this element of Phantasm where it's like
They're being stalked.
they can't escape their fate,
Yeah,
so to speak,
it's
right?
like the it's like Terminator 3, right? You can't stop Judgment Day.
Right. Um, but in this case, it's like no matter what they do, even though there is a way to like prevent this from happening to you for a time being, it always returns. It always comes back. It's always eventually going to get you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, it's inevitability.
yeah.
It's interesting. It's like this movie is a love letter to John Carpenter. There's so much fucking Halloween wankery going on here. It's so much
Oh, yeah.
fan service to Halloween. Like it's no joke. Long shots of walking, creepy things in the background. I mean, like I mean, Michael Myers was like the original version of this character. He's the inevitable. He doesn't die, right? He just slowly walks at you from far away.
Mhm.
So
And plenty of scenes where we the audience are like seeing things that the characters maybe necessarily didn't see or didn't notice at the time, but we're like, wait a minute, that was a little odd, you know. And very tense moments made tense by the way they use the camera, because the camera will be pointed outside as they enter a door, right? They enter a building, and the camera's pointed outside at like the courtyard of the school that they're at, and they're going into the building, into the school. They walk in, but they're not the focus of attention. You're still focused on the courtyard, right? And you see somebody walking towards the camera slowly in the courtyard, and instinctively, because the movie's taught you this, you're like, hmm, is this it? Is this it that's
every
coming for
character in the
them?
background becomes scary.
And then as it gets closer and closer and closer, suddenly camera shifts away and shifts towards them again. And as it shifts towards them, you hear in the background a door opening. And you're just like, oh God, get out of there, get out of there, get out of there.
Yep.
You know something as the audience that the character does, in the movie doesn't know, and you're freaking out for them. I love that. I love that experience. And it was all done just by like simple camera play, simple knowing what to focus on. You know what I mean? Things that like other people would say, wait a minute, uh, why the hell are you focusing on this part why are you focusing on the courtyard instead of the main characters in the movie? If you get it, you get it. You know? Very good stuff.
What I thought was interesting is that it's a sexually transmitted disease, and the main character gets it from somebody at the beginning of the movie, and that guy's mom is the first person you see as the it. Apparently, not written in the. No one knows. It's like it's just it's in the script apparently. It's never. No one says it out
Oh
loud.
Jesus.
That is like it's knowing that makes that scene more creepier.
That is way creepier. I didn't know that.
It's an undead. So it doesn't. So it says it can be anyone you love, but like, it really doesn't seem to be anyone except the dead. Only the dead can it be. So it's like a venereal disease,
Yeah.
which is, I think not really subtext in this case, in that a lot of venereal diseases are like a death sentence. They're just a walking death sentence, slowly and creepy, because they'll make your immune system weaker, or they'll cause something else to happen, right?
Mm-hmm. Um.
I mean, the director expressed that, but like just watching it,
Yeah.
I don't think it's really subtextual. It's more like overt. He just made the venereal disease a walking one instead. You know,
Yeah.
it's not subtext. Everyone calls that the subtext. I'm like, that's not the subtext.
Yeah, and the movie kind of weaponizes sexuality in that way,
Yes.
which is interesting way of doing it, but also Like, I think it's effective because it makes you
It,
uncomfortable,
it
right?
plays on that fear that what if you had sex with someone who said, say, "Oh yeah, and by the way, I've got AIDS." That whole fear. There's a
Oh
whole
yeah.
there was a whole like there was a what's it called? A urban myth of somebody who slept with somebody and at the end they tell you they have AIDS. You know, welcome to death. You're like, oh, that's fucked up. It was back in the '80s. You know, when urban myth started. I think they talk about that in urban legends, actually, don't they?
What?
Don't they talk?
The movie Urban Legends
No, urban killer legends.
with
Killer legends, maybe. They briefly talk about that a
oh,
bit.
you mean no, I don't think so. I watch those movies frequent or not frequently,
Because
but
don't they?
recently.
I thought they talked very
Like,
briefly about the guy who, like, I mean, very briefly at the beginning when talking about urban myths, about the guy who wakes up with one kidney, the guy who wakes up and gets, like that. Don't they? Anyway, I thought they maybe I'm probably crossing wires on a different documentary. Anyway,
yeah.
it's a common urban myth, just like waking up and having your kidney missing, which is you wake up in a TM1 bathroom and you have your kidney missing and a tub full of ice, your kidney missing, which by the way was a urban myth parodied on Adventure Brothers. Because I remember who was it? The father. He wakes up in a bathtub and he's like, oh, I'm not. He like looks at one and goes one, and turns rolls over and he sees he's got different scars like two, huh? That's literally that's the scene I remember. The unkillable monsters: Dracula, Frankenstein, Freddy, Michael, Jason. Let's go on. As long as they make money, they ain't dead. Yeah, that's true. I mean, eventually, I'm sure there'll be a sequel that it follows, but we'll be too late to capitalize on its fandom. It's already been 6 years, 7 years now. So it's like it's one of those things. I'm sorry, we talked a lot about nonsense. Let's go. Let's get back on track. We watched the Joe Bob Briggs Last Drive-In version of Re-Animator from 1985, and we both seen it. We saw this together in 2017 or 18. I can't remember which. The non-Joe Bob version.
Potentially even earlier than that. I don't remember
Oh, I
when
mean,
this was.
I can literally just. I didn't want to look, but now I'm just gonna just look. Cause I'm like thinking about it.
But yes, we've seen it before. I wanted
Specifically,
to
2015.
I wanted to revisit it because I have been wanting to watch the other reanimated movies.
Bride and
I only
Beyond.
have I only have one of those. I think I have Bride of Reanimator.
I need Beyond still also. So I just don't want to
But
pay $30 for
to
it.
watch. So we'll get around to watching those eventually, obviously.
Yep.
But I don't know. Jeffrey Combs is amazing in everything he does, including this, and I love him.
I gotta show you Necronomicon because he plays H.P. Lovecraft and yeah, he plays correction. Jeffrey Combs plays Bruce Campbell playing H.P. Lovecraft because he looks like Bruce Campbell with the makeup and he even has the same scar on the chin after that because of I guess H.P. Lovecraft had a similar scar. And now I just want Bruce Campbell to play H.P. Lovecraft in the movie since he won't need to have any chin prosthetics to look like H.P. Lovecraft. Anyway, sorry I rambled over. There's a movie called Necronomicon from 1993 where Jeffrey Combs plays H.P. Lovecraft. That's where I'm referencing. By Brian Usna. It's directed Brian Usna who produced this, directed Society, directed one of the shorts, and the wraparound for Necronomicon. So that's why it's all connected in my brain.
Yes. Um, everything about this movie is fun.
It's so fun. It's so quirky.
Yeah. Sort of a modern take on an H.P. Lovecraft storybook.
It started as
Um,
H.P. Lovecraft and actually ends up being apparently a modern Frankenstein, really. But yeah,
yeah, it's
it's
more
just
like Frankenstein
yeah.
to me.
I mean, they admit in an interview that it was like it started out more faithful to the book and then ended up being more of a Frankenstein adaptation just through rewrites and the changes and stuff. Wow, you're really soft right now, Kitty. You did a really good job of cleaning your fur. Why are you angry at me?
It's like, now you're ruining all the work I did.
She's angry. Look, come here. Get some shit in your eye. Sorry, baby. Here we go. This is what she wanted. She's like, stop touching the
Right?
rest of me.
She's angry because you won't give her attention. You're giving attention to the people in the stream.
She wants a specific part of her pet. You know? If you don't pet a specific part, she gets angry.
Oh, kitties. I have a kitty over somewhere. I don't know where.
All
Over
right.
there.
So yeah. Oh, I thought it was really funny when I was reading the trivia, and the guy who plays the evil doctor, not Jeffrey Combs, the other evil doctor, the principal, the whatever administrator of the school, who gets beheaded, he gives oral sex to Barbara Crampton, right? That's who it is, Barbara Crampton. And apparently his wife saw this, the dude's wife in real life saw this in the theater, and burst out like, "How could you?" And we're like, it's a fucking movie. Like, he didn't really eat her out, you fuck. Ah, it was just funny. Just like, how could you? I feel bad for him because it sucks, but like, what a movie moment, right? Like, how could you?
Mhm.
Ah, like,
It just means that he sold the moment.
he did. Oh, I
He
mean,
did a
yeah,
very good job acting.
absolutely. I mean, he does a great asshole. I mean, he's playing this like just rotten person.
Mhm.
Show me your work. I'll be rich, he says like 4 seconds later. But he's also kind of a moron. Or I guess maybe he's not a moron. Maybe he's blinded by his hubris, okay? He thinks he's got power over him. Because what's cut out of this movie, we find out from Joe Bob, was there's a whole 45 minutes cut out. And there's a segment talking about the guy and his hypnotherapy sessions. He's got a hypnotherapist. So what happens is he's actually hypnotizing Jeffrey Combs' character in this moment, and when he breaks eye contact, it wears off. But I guess he thinks his power is stronger than it is, and leaves his back turned to Jeffrey Combs. I'm like, you are just the dumbest person for doing that. Because guess what happens? Jeffrey Combs beheads him, because that's how we get to the fellatio moment. I guess. Is that called fellatio when you're doing a woman? Cunnilingus. There you go. Wrong one. It's the cunnilingual moment. Whoa. I don't know that's a word. Hi, I'm
Yeah,
really high. If you couldn't fucking tell, I'm going a million miles an hour. I'm sorry. Next
there's
was...
definitely the,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Okay.
There's definitely the moment in the movie where they are, going beyond what you would normally expect to see in a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's like there are levels of acceptability, and then this is just a headless zombie giving cunnilingus to a woman. What?
Unwillingly.
Yeah. What
Just be
the
clear.
fuck? Yeah.
It's
That's your
interesting
one.
that, like, what's his fucking name? Fuck, I'm blanking on his name. Fuck it. Herbert West is like this rotten person, but by the end of the movie, his villain is so evil, you were rooting for Herbert West to win because you're like, he's totally the less evil one. He's like
Mhm.
delightfully evil. He's not trying to hurt
Mhm.
anybody. Shit just keeps happening. Like, Herbert West's not trying to kill anybody. He just keeps reanimating people with too much juice, and they turn into fucking hulking zombies and start Hulk smashing people. He's like, oh, fuck. That's not what I meant to do. He also killed his roommate's cat, probably. Allegedly. It's implied. I bet you it's in the extended cut he kills the cat. But if I were the screenwriter, I would have just had the cat die of natural causes, because the minute the guy kills the cat like that, there's nothing he could do the rest of the movie that'll let anyone like him. Absolutely nothing. He's like, people find that person
Yep.
irredeemable. We know. We saw the documentary Don't Fuck with Cats.
Mhm.
Anyway, do you have
Cool.
anything else to add to this? I give this 9 out of 10 stars. It's really, I had it 8 out of 10 stars for so long. I just don't know why. This is like a certified classic beyond its own genre. Beyond genre. It should be, everyone should see this movie at least once if they're okay with gore and boobs and shit. I mean, depending on your content warning level.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about this. I literally have it down in my notes. I have so few notes about this movie. It just says Jeffrey Combs is amazing. Nothing else needs to be said.
There you go. That's
So
a note.
yeah.
All right. Next, we watch Stowaway 2021. Wow, this is interesting. I watched the trailer. And I could have swore it felt like what's her face? Oh, God, what's wrong with names today? Anna Kendrick was the Stowaway. I thought that the trailer implied that. Maybe I just read into it wrong. Anyway,
think you
I
heard him do
also
it
don't know
live.
how anyone falls asleep or passes out behind a panel like that.
Hmm.
Like, it seems weird.
I
Uh,
think it's implied that he got knocked out specifically, like the rumbling of it, like he got hit in the head somehow.
oh,
But you know,
inside the paneling, it's like, seems weird. That's why I'm like, I don't know, that seems weird to me. Anyway, he falls out of the ceiling. He presents a problem. They only have oxygen for 3 people. Then, catastrophe strikes. They lose a bunch of oxygen. And now they only have oxygen for 2 people. But it's the trolley problem, the movie. By
yeah,
Mr. Guitar Man on YouTube.
yeah, that
He's
was the thing that shocked me because we were just starting to watch the movie. Then you went through and did what you always do, and you went on IMDb or where else,
Letterboxd. Just
Letterboxd, right?
perused some spoiler-free reviews.
And you're like, "This is directed by Joe." You said it was directed by Joe Penna, and I was like, "Wait a minute, I know that name. I know that name from
And
somewhere.
then
Where do I know that fucking
someone
name?"
mentioned, like, it's interesting that people who started on YouTube are starting to direct movies. And I'm like, I typed in Joe Penna into YouTube and it brought up Mr. Guitar Man. And I was like, oh! It was like a light bulb. Like, I didn't know! I've never met him, but you have, because we were in a chat a decade ago called Stickam for YouTubers, which is for people. We had a YouTube chat. People showed up, and there was a lot of people who went in and out of that. A lot of famous people, now famous on YouTube, famous, you know, a lot of nobodies, including myself. But I showed up there. That's how I met the Justin and Sean and Garbage Gamer and Eric and Ryan Chataway. Um,
And
so
Ryan Chataway.
I saved him for last on purpose. So.
So, yeah, it was an interesting time because people, if you talk to younger people nowadays and they're teens or even some in their 20s, I don't think they would even know what the fuck Stickam was. But here was this platform. People were literally doing kind of what they do now with video chats. Um, and
You're
the
doing it
only
for
difference
anyone
was it
else.
wasn't really, it wasn't really in high definition. It was
No,
like the
God, it
best
was
you could get.
postage stamp size, 240p at
Yeah,
best.
yeah. So we were happy to have it because it was like the cutting edge
Look,
technology at the
look,
time.
look. Say what you want about Stickam chat. It was wonderful. I am so glad Sean has to wear a shirt. That's all I'm saying. Because he sat around that thing all the time shirtless. Like, fucking, because it was hot. And I don't blame him, but
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It was just like, it was weird. He's the only shirtless person. I was like, this is weird.
Um,
I don't know. It just always struck me as odd. But I mean,
but yeah,
that's fine.
a bunch of YouTubers at the time would show up and
DeFranco?
converse with one
No.
another. Philip DeFranco was one of them. I spoke with him quite a lot more than Mr. Guitar Man, actually. Like we knew each other pretty well. I know enough to know that Philip DeFranco was at the time he started doing YouTube, he was in school to become a doctor. So he could have been a doctor or do this. He just decided to do this. Like, that's cool. Wherever your inspiration leads you. But
Man,
I remember,
passion's crazy. It'll take you wherever
yeah,
you go, you know? You never know where it's going to take you.
I remember that they I came out in at the tail end of it on a day where Philip DeFranco and Mr. Guitarman were in the chat at the same time, and Mr. Guitarman had apparently been like just fucking around on his guitar on Stickam for a while, just
Oh, we're
coming up
putting
with
this
all
on
these
video?
random songs. And he came up with the theme song that then Philip DeFranco used in his videos. Because at the time he was SXE Phil,
Oh,
and
right.
everybody in the chat would call him Sexy Phil because they didn't know what straight edge meant. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah. And so the song came out, Sexy Phil, he's not sexy. Sexy Phil, he's sexy. And that was his original theme song that he had. Back when that was a thing that people did on YouTube,
Hey,
you know.
my podcast is a fucking theme song. This podcast will have a theme song eventually. I want to do, after we've done a few dozen episodes, get some clips done. I want to make like a highlight video that starts the show. When instead of the starting screen, it would just be the couch
No,
potatoes like starting video, right?
What I'm saying is, I get that, but they don't really do that anymore because it doesn't work. Because you have to introduce a concept to people of what they're going to see in the video, and then you play the intro music. You
Sure,
know what I mean?
for YouTube. If I were cutting this for YouTube, yes. For stream, because I don't. YouTube's like secondary to me.
Ah,
For stream, it would be the stream is starting soon page. It would just be highlights of all our favorite, like me go on a fucking rant about whatever, and here's the clip, and then another clip and another clip, etc. Down a list of clips. You know. Um.
so yeah, I did not expect Mystery Guitar Man to direct a movie. I did not know that he was.
Yeah.
I knew
Long
that he had
diatribe.
done music videos and he had done advertisements and stuff like that. He did a Snickers ad way back in the day, but he had never, like in the past 10 years, there were times in the past like 5 years I was like, whatever happened to him? Where did he go? What happened to him?
Developing a movie.
So to just randomly just start watching a movie and then discover, oh shit, that's Mystery Guitar Man. He made this movie that I'm watching right now. Well, that's what happened to him. You know, that's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting experience. As for the movie itself, it was absolute dog. No, I'm just kidding. It was all right, but there were definitely issues. I think it is fair to say there were issues with this movie. It's not the kind of movie that's going to blow you away.
Issues, you say. Why don't you
Yeah.
describe what issues did you have with it?
Well, the ending, it makes sense for the characters, but it's not really the ending you want to see. Maybe it's just because I'm so used to and love a certain kind of sci-fi movie, and this one is kind of slow and it ends kind of slow, and it, never really picks up, so to speak. And
Mm-hmm.
the, the character who ends up making the big decision at the end ends up not being the character you expect it to be. Diverting or subverting expectations is not a bad thing per se. I just don't think it worked this time. Not for me, at least. But
It's a feel bad movie. I didn't feel good at the
yeah,
end of it. It's a feel bad. It's like
you
it
don't
was.
have
It
to
was
feel
good.
good at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
Really.
it was 7 stars, 7 out of 10. Really thought it was really strong. I felt it was a bit pacing was a little bit off, but for a fucking first movie, he hit it out the park. Couldn't have done any better. I don't think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing to be ashamed of. Whatever. But this movie left a feeling for me that I probably won't watch it again. Not because it's bad, but because it makes me feel bad in a way I don't want to revisit.
Mhm.
I didn't think the character who died, one of the characters who died, should have died, and that's just,
Yeah.
it's like a cat.
And you're right about the premise of the movie. It is something that's like would never actually happen, kind of
It
thing.
may not. I mean, who knows? I mean, that is a theoretical situation that could happen where you have no other way. You have to choose, right? But the thing that to me is like, as a commander of the ship, I couldn't let someone else take someone else's life. I would just be like, well, I don't want anyone else to die, so I will just jump out the airlock. Fuck it. That's like, for me, like that's like the most. The thing, the whole trolley problem is like ridiculous because it's like, I don't know. If we just weren't on the tracks to begin with, like if you just packed enough oxygen to begin with,
Yeah.
in case emergency. But interestingly, this is not NASA. I don't think this is. I think this is private space travel, which might be a piece of commentary on that. To be fair, the dangers of privatized space travel is that cutting out.
I wish if that's what they were going for, that they would have made it more clear that they're talking about private space travel and not NASA. They didn't get the rights to use NASA or anything like that, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a government-funded project. They
I
don't
don't.
really make it clear.
I don't think it was supposed to be that. I just think that that's just incidental in this case.
Yeah, I'm saying that there definitely was a way that they could have added some depth to the film
Mm-hmm.
just by like maybe even just adding a few lines, and that was a decision they didn't choose to make. So, oh,
Yeah, I mean,
for other reasons, it kind of feels a little flat to me. Like,
it's not a bad movie. It's worth watching, but your mileage may vary. On Letterboxd, it's pretty divisive. Gonna be honest. A lot of my friends either loved or hated it. So
but although the premise, I will say, of getting stuck in the walls of the ship or whatever, it's not like it hasn't been done before, and it reminded me of the stupid premise behind the '90s Lost in Space movie. Remember that?
I unfortunately
Remember
did
that
see that in a drive-in. Yes,
movie?
I don't remember what it was paired with.
I
Some
don't know.
other
I kind of have
family-friendly sci-fi movie. I think Lost in Space was the B movie of the movie I was watching, though.
Oh, okay.
I think it was The Postman. Now I'm thinking about it.
Mm.
What a night that was. Postman and fucking Lost in Space. Can you just drive the car over me, please? I
Hey, the
kid.
Postman's
The
good.
Postman is great. Now, in retrospect, as a kid, this shit's boring. All right. As an adult, when you can appreciate art for art and get subtext and understand commentary, it's a pretty good movie. I had no complaints.
Mhm.
But as a kid, that shit bored me to tears.
Agreed.
That was all we did. That was all the movies.
Well, we watched, yeah. Well, we watched quite a few things, though. So,
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Did you get anything this week, movie-wise?
No,
What? No pickups at all?
I don't have any money to buy things
Oh.
like that. Are you
I
kidding me?
bought these last month. I got this Grave Secrets, which is a Vinegar Syndrome archive title. I never miss these. It's like my one thing I never miss. And then I also got this Homegrown Horrors set, which has no nudity. Has Winter Beast, which is the movie I wanted to get out of the set the most. The rest are just a nice bonus. Fatal Exam. These all have reversible covers, but God, these covers are so gorgeous I couldn't flip them. And then Beyond Dream Store. I had seen Winter Beast. It was a long time ago. It's on Best of the Worst. I have not seen the other two movies, so I'm interested in where this will take me. But I couldn't pass it up. Limited edition, and yes, I know a lot of these are getting released separately. They're like standalones, or is that the very first Giallo collection is one single pack Blu-ray set with 3 discs. Maybe it's 1 disc. It might just be 1 disc with the movies. Whatever. It doesn't matter to me. The point is, I like this art. The art on these. My complaint about these are they're way too fucking tight, and trying to put them in through the top actually will tear the plastic if you're not very careful.
Mm.
Kind of annoying. I think my only problem with the design of the set, but like, they really put like every side is just, I don't know. There's nothing here, but it's just beautiful looking. It's just the colors, just spine looks so nice. The thing is this. You're gonna see something interesting. When we move out, when I have more shelving, I do this. This is me. This is the me thing. This stuff, these will go on the shelf, and this goes like this, displayed at top. Because I want all my movies in a sting. I don't want to have to dig through every fucking set. So you'll see, when it's a set that's all the same movie, you'll just see like the Halloween set will just be jammed on the shelf because it's all one movie. It's all H. It's all HLOWEN. So it's like they're all coming next to each other anyway if I take them out. So I just leave the box. I just turn it around so you can remove the movies from the side. But like, for me, it's like the box is beautiful. I want to display it, but the wrapping on these. The other complaint I have on these also, and the box sets. they're wrapped. So there's an edge here. There's a lip. So if you're not careful and you just decide because you need to quickly do something, you just shove it on your shelf and you let the movies just kind of slide over it, you'll start peeling the edge on one of these.
Mm.
And so, of course, that means, of course, you have to use 2 hands and take care, but that is a problem. If you have it this way, like with the edge out, and someone like is looking through your collection, eventually they're going to peel this edge because they're constantly touching this and your oils and stuff. And so, like, I love these. These are beautiful. They have, like, matte finishes. There's a shiny piece here. Like the shiny eyes and letters and stuff. But, like, and I always buy them, but, like, you gotta be careful with them. They're a bit fragile. So, like, when we get there, I'll probably take all of these out, put a stud in here, which is just a blank case. Probably a broken case. It's just shove a broken case in there to keep this form so it doesn't get crushed. This will go on the shelf. Just because it'll be more convenient and I don't have to worry about damaging these things. Because I'm one of those weirdos that, like, constantly touches their collection and looks at the covers and reads the backs of them, and I'm one of those weirdos. Okay, I love my movies. They're in my house for a reason. Many of them will never leave my home until my death, and then they'll probably go to whoever wants them in my friend circle. They get to fight to the death in a Thunderdome battle. I've already decided. And in the middle of the Thunderdome, my body will just be dangling upside down. So you just have to fight around my corpse. Sorry. So that's the hot clips for you. And I think only other thing I got was some comic book stuff, which I'll talk about S&I, obviously. And I think that does it for our show. It's about a typical length show, about hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. Did you have anything else to add you want to talk about?
No.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you everyone who commented in the chat. Thank you everybody who watched. Thank you everybody who's watching on YouTube. Thank you to the guy who keeps pointing out the transphobic shit that I just keep blocking. Like, you keep making a new account. You're welcome. I love you, Smoochy Boochies. Thanks for the free comments. Bye, everybody. See you next week.